called negotiations, right? Politics.
And we're out of time. So you.
Hey y'all, Gravity, any day above ground living. Hopefully you had a fantastic evening last night, better than most of us who heard that Trump Elon space. But if you were in that stream, you know that I started reacting and we started reacting to this Marc Lamont Hill versus Uncle Hotep piece. And I said, you know what, let's finish it off. We only have about an hour left. Let's see if Uncle Hotep made a comeback. But before we do that, let's see who's in the building. Denise, Miss Nisi, hello. Jerry Bedford, hello. Quasi Blackstar, hello. Vincent Taylor, hello. That is nasty. You're eating a scrapple sandwich. That is not good.
Sinful. It's the devil.
Lehman Lucas, hello. Reparations Nation, hello. For those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, good morning. Let's do the house cleaning and then we getting into this.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose, such as criticism, commenting, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in.
Get to work! Didn't also live a life in a way that also was deeply connected in Wisconsin Indian culture. I'm saying that it's both. In the United States, being both doesn't impact her. What I'm saying is that if I were to go to India 9 times in my life, you would say, yeah, Mark, but you lived as a Black person all the rest of your life. What I'm saying is that Kamala Harris growing up also lived her life as a Black person. I'm not saying, though, that she didn't also live a life in a way that also was deeply connected in Wisconsin Indian culture. I'm saying that it's both. In the United States, being both doesn't negate your Blackness. When somebody says, I'm Black and I'm Irish, or I'm Black and I'm Russian, or I'm Black and I'm whatever, right? I'm Palestinian. You're still Black. And I'm not saying you're arguing a person, you're making a debate argument against somebody who's saying that she isn't impacted by Indian culture, that she doesn't have a lot of Indian in her. Except I'm not that opponent. I'm saying she does have a lot of Indian in her. She does have Indian culture in her, but that it doesn't negate her Blackness. The point that I disputed that you stated was that she came to Blackness late. I'm saying she did not. Even when she was making those trips to India, she was still listening to Kool and the Gang. She still had the bamboo earrings on. She still had a crush on Jerry Curl, Michael Jackson. She still spoke Black English. She still identified with her Black father and Black family. Because again, the father and family piece is critical, because if you just do Black stuff and go to Black places, that don't mean you're Black. But I'm saying she did all the Black shit, and she is biologically Black. And I mean that in the sense that
she's not biologically Black. Oh, he's doing this. So she did Black stuff, and you're thinking she's biologically Black means that we should call her Black. Okay. Whew. We had fun last night. So for those who weren't here, it was that bad. If you thought what you just heard, you scratched your head, imagine how we felt last night. Go back and listen to that piece. Matter of fact, while this is playing, I'm gonna put it in the chat, in the description box. Y'all can go listen to that piece.
She has a black father. She ain't Rachel Dolezal in it, right? She's not, pretending to be something she's not. So
Her father's not black.
On both fronts, on both counts, she satisfies the conditions for being black. But
again, look, now there's conditions.
We're so obsessed with this
there's
piece
conditions.
Of it. If our mission is to liberate our people, I think it's a better question to ask for me. And I'm happy to stay here if y'all want.
Who's he to give out the conditions?
But it seems more important to me to ask the question: is Kamala Harris good for black people? Then is Kamala Harris from black people? Because again, even if she's not, that doesn't change my vote. Even if she is, that doesn't change my vote. Which, unless she just made the whole shit up, because then she's a liar. But my point is, vote for her. We have to determine what's best for us as a community and ask ourselves: is she it? And the "is she it" question can't get answered by pointing to how black she is genealogically or culturally.
They asked Kamala who's the greatest rapper alive, and she said Tupac. You know damn well she's not black. She couldn't give a Kendrick, couldn't give a Jay-Z, couldn't give a Nas.
Who's the first name you said?
Kendrick
Lamar?
Jay-Z.
Wait, did you say Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
When they asked Kendrick Lamar who the greatest rapper of all time is, you know who he said?
No, he said Uncle Hotep said greatest rapper alive. He didn't say of all time. Alive.
I heard it. And he's saying she said Tupac and not Kendrick, Nas, or Jay-Z, for example. But what I'm saying is, when they asked one of the three people he thinks are eligible for the GOAT status, Kendrick Lamar, who the GOAT was, Kendrick Lamar has been asked who the GOAT is. You know who Kendrick Lamar thinks is the GOAT? Tupac. So it's a little interesting that Kamala is disqualified. Her blackness is disqualified for not saying Kendrick, for saying no,
Tupac. He said alive though. Tupac
said alive.
Is saying
Tupac.
But they said alive. Tupac is allegedly dead.
Alive. You talking about the alive?
They asked her.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me hop in right here. Let me hop in right here just to clarify. The question was who is the greatest rapper alive? And she said Tupac. Tupac's, either she's telling us Tupac is still alive or she can't name somebody alive. And I think that's the point Uncle Hotep was trying to make. But the question was greatest rapper alive.
So I'm sorry. Uncle Hotep's dial-up service was glitching. I didn't actually.
Wow. So we take it.
I didn't hear the alive part. Forgive me. That's my mistake. I own that. So, that's, again, this is the kind of, I would call it superficiality.
Hoteps, how did you allow him to get off on that? Maybe I'm missing something. How did you allow that? I'd have been like, yo, watch your mouth. Screw it. We're going to mirror it. Screw it.
The silliness that the media does to everybody, right? When they want to catch somebody. Kamala Harris, we don't dispute that Kamala Harris was in Northern California in 1996. Right? We all agree that she was in the Bay in 1996, correct? Like, that's not a dispute. There's no conspiracy. We had photos of her. She was working.
But she said, they asked her on Breakfast Club when she was in law school. She was in law school in the late 80s, early 90s. That's when she first brought up Tupac and Snoop. But okay. And y'all didn't see, never mind.
So she was in the Bay when Tupac was murdered. Tupac was murdered in September of 1996, right? If you think that she actually doesn't know that Tupac was dead, even if let's say she couldn't name any other rapper in the world, right? Which is not true, but let's say she couldn't. Why would she name the rapper who was dead? Obviously, she did the same thing that I just did, right? And then a lot of people do, right? So often now they say who's the GOAT. Very few people say who's the best rapper alive. Most people say who's the GOAT. Who's your top five? And most people don't mean they say top five dead or alive. That's an obvious mistake, right? I mean, and Kamala Harris, again, I'll just give you a concrete example. First time I did a media event with Kamala Harris was in 2006 for Hip Hop versus America. Hip Hop versus America on BET. Y'all remember that Jeff Johnson used to host it? It was a bunch of rappers on a panel debating the history and future of hip hop. She was on there with rappers. She talked about rap. She talked about rappers. But it was BET, no disrespect to BET, but this shit started 4 hours late. Me, her, Talib Kweli, M1 from Dead Prez, like 2 or 3 other rappers, literally and Michael Eric Dyson were sitting around drinking, like sharing these little school lunch-size snack packs that he gave us and drinking quarter waters until the show started. My point being, one, that's some black shit, but two, we had deep hip-hop conversations and she was standing there with rappers. Clearly, everybody in the world knows Beyonce, and everybody in the world knows Jay-Z is Beyonce's husband. If you can't name a rapper, you just say Jay-Z. If you can't name a rapper, you say Eminem. If you can't name a rapper, you say Lil Wayne. I mean, there are people you could say if you really can't name one. If I were to say Uncle Hotep right now, who's the greatest guitarist of all time? Or who's the greatest drummer of all time? I don't know if you're a musician, but I suspect even if you don't know any guitarists, you could think you might say Jimi Hendrix or Eric Clapton, or you might say Axl Rose or Slash, excuse me. If I say who's the greatest drummer, you might never name one drummer, but you could say Questlove if you had to, right? There are people who are famous enough that you could just pull one out your ass and be fine, right? Pause. And yet, y'all think that she literally couldn't think of any other rapper, and that she was so bereft, she was so incapable of naming a living rapper that she just decided to name Tupac, who either she, like you said, she didn't know was that. I mean, come on, that's what I'm saying.
Called it.
We can only go with what she said.
And again, you could, and if you think that somehow makes sense, right? That she just so couldn't name any rapper that she chose a dead one, or that she doesn't think Tupac is dead. Either both of which seem absurd on their face. That strikes me as a bit unreasonable on your end. And honestly, I do know some 60-year-old black women who couldn't name a great rapper alive right now. I know some 60-year-old black women that could not. It wouldn't mean they're not black to me. It just mean they're not in the rap. But that's actually not her case. I know she rocks with Too Short. I don't want to say like make it sound raunchy.
Oh God, why are we talking about rappers? Where's the politics? Where's the policy? Be talking about rappers. All right.
I know she likes Too Short. I've seen her dance to Too Short. I've heard her rap.
So we have another qualifier, family. Hey, baby, you are black if you dance to Too Short, according to Marc Lamont Hill. You're black if you dance to Too Short.
Oh, cool. I guess I'm black.
There you go.
To Too Short. You can't grow up in the Bay and not know MC Hammer. You can't grow up in the Bay and not know. You know what I'm saying? There's just certain things you know from growing up around that time. You know what I'm saying? And I know she knows. I know she knows the coup. I know she. You know, it's just things I know she knows from hearing her say. Not like because that's the homie. I don't know her like that, and not because I just believe in her. I don't have that much faith in her. I just know that.
But you're defending her, but you don't have that much faith.
Even if she didn't know it, I wouldn't trip. But I know she knows it.
I mean, I know it's superficial things, but we're getting to the point: is she good for black people? And like,
yeah, can we get back to that conversation?
She isn't. You know, I think we might as well go back to Trump. I don't see where we're getting at. Where like, oh, we need to vote for Kamala. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Keep Trump.
Hoteps. I fuck with the Hoteps. Shout out to Cannon Hotep. Shout out to Jay Pilot. Shout out to Hotep Goldstein. Shout out to Hotep Jesus, Uncle Hotep. Shout out to I need that answer for my edification. Why are you guys not focused on Congress? Congress is the one that can destroy the Second Amendment. And even if the president vetoes it, the optics would look bad. They can limit free speech. They're directly talking to big tech. They got them on speed dial. Why y'all not focused on them? Why are you so focused on Trump and Kamami? It baffles me. Okay, you get one of them in, great. You're either gonna cry about it or you're gonna be like, yes, let's go. Your legislatures are the ones destroying these gun laws that y'all love so much. They're messing with small businesses that y'all love so much. Hoteps, you do realize that Congress can destroy HotepCon. You do realize that. They'll call y'all radicals. You'll be under terrorist watch. So y'all be down there trying to network and build something at that latest HotepCon, and they can run in right in there with the Gestapo and mess it up. And it ain't going to be the president that does that. But all right. Just some food for thought.
Out and stuff like that. You know, that's the rhetoric that's out here. We got to vote for Kamala.
Kamala.
Hold on. Didn't I say that right? Kamala. We got to vote for Kamala to keep Trump out. She's further right than Trump.
On which issues?
Jail.
Be more specific. What's her right-wing position on jail?
Well, I'm really
Throw
I'm
nigga in
actually
jail.
saying
That's
Trump
the
isn't
position.
this right
Throw
wing.
black man, black woman, black child in jail. That's the position. And Paul, you can come up here and sell me Trump, please. I love it. And you got a hell of a task to do that too, because your man was in a Twitter space last night and he couldn't sell his platform. So maybe you can do it. Maybe you work for the campaign. Maybe you can articulate it better. Come sell me Trump. And if you can't sell me Trump, you have to give me one of them remodel homes for free.
That candidate that the media comes out and
No, that's not what you said. You said she's to the right of Trump. I'm saying, what specific policy position does she have that is more conservative or to the right of Donald Trump on criminal justice or jail, as you put it? Just tell me. I want you to give it a concrete, specific answer to that.
First step.
Or say misspoken, you take it back. Either one.
Mark, I want to let you cook, but you got a lot of mic time, and I want you to allow to get a whole thought out and then respond. Because he's giving you that.
I think he's glitching when I think he's stopping talking. I'm not trying to interrupt.
He's still taking shots. Let's get it.
He is glitching. He's definitely glitching. But let him get his whole thought out.
I'm not trying to interrupt him. I keep thinking he's stopping. Forgive me. Let me know when it's my turn. I won't say another word. You tell me it's my turn.
All right.
I'm not being sarcastic. I really think he's stopping. I'm not trying to interrupt him. Go ahead.
All right.
Don't block nobody.
No, what I'm really trying to say is that it's being portrayed to black people that Kamala needs to be our savior. We need to come out and vote for her. We need to come out.
Marc Lamont Hill, she's not even saving black women dying in the operating room during pregnancies. How's she gonna save the entire country? She's the liaison for foreign policy, and she couldn't even save soldiers. She can't even save Texas from being invaded. She can't save New Mexico from being invaded. She can't save Arizona from being invaded. She can't save California from being invaded. We'll call it what it is. It's an invasion. But you expect her to save the country because she's going to get more power. Cool, Mark. I want to see your face if she wins. I want to see your face when she drops that biblical crime bill on the entire country. That's going to be going after the quote unquote invaders, not too tough though, and melanated people such as yourself. You think what happened to you with that Philly cop or wherever you were in Pennsylvania when you went to go see your kid and drop off that food, you think that was bad? You keep forgetting that them same cops went to Israel and learned counterterrorism tactics. It's going to be worse because remember, y'all got mad at Trump for saying, give the cops more immunity. Y'all seem to forget that Biden said, give them cops more money. So let's do the math here. More money for them cops, no prosecution for doing your job. What do you think is going to happen? That's a perfect storm for a white supremacist in the police department. You can go crackheads and nobody's going to be able to do nothing. At most, you get a civil, you have to fight a civil case at most, but ain't nobody going to jail. Huh. Okay. Maybe you want that. Of it, all cities, Philly, you want that. Okay.
Out and save the country once again, like we saved the country 4 years ago. I mean, 8 years ago. 2016, 2020, when we put in Joe Biden. And what I mean, like,
great, Paul. I would do that, but my daughter's not zoned for that school, so we're all right. But still, you can come up here and sell me Trump. Thank you so much.
About Kamala. She's been a lifelong politician. She's part of the machine. Really part of the machine. The fact that we think that we're going to save ourselves because this big boogeyman Trump, did all black people die when Trump was in office? What happened? What happened to us? Did we survive? We're still here, aren't we? But this is what we're getting at. This is what's being portrayed to us. And then when like CNN goes into the barbershops and ask about Kamala, and this is why the subject of the show, because that's what they asked. What they asked the barbers and the people getting the haircut, do you think Kamala's black? People in the shop said, no, I don't know. But I mean, that really isn't important. Now, I might not have specifics on whether I'm just saying from a feeling, general feeling. She's more to the right of Trump. I'm not saying super far or anything like that. I'm saying Trump is more a New York Democrat like he's always been. Just the lines have shifted so much. I just don't think she's good for us. And when her shape shifting, when I think she does this shape shifting, it's just to get the black vote. They're trying to pull an Obama again. That's all I got.
Okay. So just so everyone who's watching understands, I heard what you said at the end, which I appreciate you saying that you don't have any specific example of any policy and that it's more of a general feeling. I like to deal with evidence and data, not vibes. So I'm going to say that without any evidence that Kamala Harris is to the right of Donald Trump, we shouldn't make that claim. And the reason I say that is because all the evidence suggests otherwise. I could give you 10 examples of how she is less conservative than Donald Trump. And you can't provide.
Just give me two.
Donald Trump supports blanket immunity for police. That would be one, right? You agree with that?
And you don't think they agree on that? Oh, Mark, maybe you've been in the Green Party too long. Again, I mentioned this last night. I'm going to mention it again. How'd that Oscar Grant situation work? Them cops basically got immunity. She didn't prosecute them. They left with 3/4 of their pension. Then she had an opportunity when she became AG to do it and get them jailed. She said no. Then when her office called her out on it, one of her, I guess you could call them lieutenants, suddenly got a case put on her. It's funny how that works, but you think that she's not for blanket immunity for them cops. Okay. All right. What's the other one?
That would be considered a position further to the right, correct?
Was that just on federal cases, or?
Yeah, but
I thought there was some caveats with that. With that,
is there any caveat that would make it not to the right, though? That's a red herring. Well,
no, would they still be able to get prosecuted?
It would make it harder for police to be prosecuted. That is a pro-law enforcement position. That is not a left-wing position. You can't. There's no way you can spin this. Right? You're saying it might not be as big of a protection against police as it's projected, but the fact is, he wants to expand the protection that police have and reduce the amount of recourse that people have when they have cases against the police. That would make him further to the right.
Hey, I'm gonna need y'all to stop threatening people in the chat, please. I need full monetization on this. Y'all get each other's email. Y'all threaten each other over email. Don't threaten people in my chat. And Paul, if you threaten people one more time, I'm blocking you. And you can go remodel your homes in silence. And you could continue to watch me. You make the decision. Thank you so much.
Right, than Kamala Harris on that issue. When you talk about the death penalty, Donald Trump believes in the death penalty. She does not. That would make him to the right of Kamala Harris. You asked for two. I can give you two more, or do you want to just do one?
The death penalty is not what? Sir, the death penalty is not a right or left thing. What are you talking about? Just because some states say they don't do it does not mean they're not for it. It's just not available to them. Marc Lamont Hill, if a PDF file did something to a couple kids, I think you'd want the death penalty. Marc Lamont Hill, Dylan Roof did what he did. I think we all want him on death row, which he is. You know, he's trying to fight it. I think you want that. We want Peyton Gendron on death row. I think you'd want Jeffrey Dahmer on death row. John Wayne Gacy. I think if he survived, David Koresh, I think you'd want him on death row. Depending on how you look at that case. The Menendez boys. Klebo and Harris. I think you'd want them cops that deleted Jalen Walker on death row. The cop that killed Philando Castile, I think you'd want him on death row. I think you'd want Darren, whatever the hell it is. What's his name? What's that? The one that deleted Mike Brown. I think you want him on it. Darren Wilson. I think you'd want him on death row.
Chalk this one and keep going.
What were the two? I missed it. What was the two? You got the police one, and what was the other one?
The death penalty.
Well, that's kind of like in the same vein, right?
How are they in the same vein?
Because you're talking about like law enforcement and criminality.
No. The conversation is about how is she to the right of him on law enforcement? Give me two examples of examples of him being on law enforcement. They're all going to be on law enforcement.
So all 10 of your points are on law enforcement.
Because he said that he's to the right of her on law enforcement. And I said I can give you 10 examples of how she's to the left of him on law enforcement. And I'm saying he can't provide one example.
I don't believe he said law enforcement. I think that's a bit of
He said jail. He said jail in particular. The word he used was jail. I'm actually giving him more sophisticated language. What he said was jail.
She put plenty of people. She put plenty of brothers in jail, man. Come on, man.
Okay, you're saying that
she not.
She did. And again, I'm not her defender. I think she's wrong for that. That's a straw man. You're arguing a point that I'm not making to make it seem like you're disproving me. I agree with you that she's locked too many people up. I agree. Remember, I said the whole system is either corrupt or will corrupt you, and I don't defend or support any of them. I'm an abolitionist. You and I agree on Kamala Harris locking too many people up. We agree, so you can't use the point against me that I'm making, right? It's like me saying, no, Uncle Hotep, you do have sunglasses on. You will not, I can prove it. And you're like, well, I never said I didn't, right? I never said anything about her. You said that Kamala Harris Donald Trump that Kamala Harris is to the right of Donald Trump on issues related to jail. And I asked you to name one, and you said you cannot, but that it's a general feeling. And what I'm saying is that your feelings are contradicted by the facts. I am then offering facts of how she is to the left of him on issues related to jail. And the moderator intervened respectfully and said, well, those are all related to jail. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Now I can name.
So the left's position is to keep people in jail longer than their sentences because you need labor to fight forest fires. The left's position is to over sentence people for drug charges. That's being left of Donald Trump. Okay. All right.
Other issues she's to the left of. But again, I'm not.
So she's better because she said no bail for people who do crime. She's better when that statute and that declaration can be misused. See, it's cool when black people don't get bail for crimes. Everybody got a problem with it. But let's say a mass deleter gets no bail. Then what y'all outside, y'all ready to protest. Double standard is not a standard. But that's what she believes in. Okay.
A Democrat, and I am not a Kamala Harris surrogate. I'm only disagreeing with the specific topic that we're talking about. If you're talking about war, I disagree with Kamala Harris. If you call him for backup, this is what you do when you lose in a debate. You bring the most beautiful, adorable child in the world to the background. And then everybody pauses for a minute. Don't make me. I gotta get my kids in here, man. You ain't playing fair, man. You ain't playing fair. Everybody pauses. I disagree with Kamala Harris. If you call him for backup, this is what you do with Kamala Harris. If you call him for backup, the specific topic that we're talking about. If you're talking about war, I disagree with Kamala Harris. If you call him for backup,
how you let him roast you? That's 3 times now. He done got you. Damn, Uncle Hotep, not good.
This is what you do when you lose in a debate. You bring the most beautiful, adorable child in the world to the background. And then everybody pauses for a minute. Don't make me. I gotta get my kids in here, man. You ain't playing fair, man. You ain't playing fair. But this is the point. I've never said that Kamala Harris is the savior of black people. No politician can save black people, and no Democrat in particular can save black people.
So why
Democrats are not the saviors of black people? They never have been.
Okay, so if she's not the savior of black people, why are you caping for her on her level of blackness? Why are you doing that? Keep it on the issues. Y'all should be debating the issues. There should be an 90-minute conversation about the issues. Not how black she is. We've already established she's not. Let's move on. She's not good for Black people. She's not good for Latinos. She's not good for AAPI. Despite her being part of that community, she's not good for them. It's going to be the same thing with Stacey Abrams when she galvanized the Asians. They use them as a political prop. They win, or subsequently, at the minimum, get major traction. And then if they lose, they forget. Or if they win, they forget. Just like the Asians down here in Georgia went outside for Biden because of what she said. And they said, okay, we want something for our vote now. And she ghosted them for 2 years. And she said, and then they said, word, okay, we're not coming outside. And what happened? She went up against Kemp and Shane, whatever the hell his last name is, I forget, because he was largely forgettable. And we all saw what happened that night. She lost badly. Let's talk about issues and policy. Y'all still got about 42 minutes. Show me something.
And I have never claimed for them to be. That's why I've never been a Democrat for one day in my life. And I've only voted for maybe two Democrats in my entire life. I'll be 46 this year. So this isn't a pro-Democrat argument, and this isn't a pro-Kamala argument. What I do believe is that Black people have to make a decision, a political decision, that gives us the best outcome that we can get. If the best outcome is Trump, then we should vote Trump. I just don't believe that Trump is the best outcome for us.
The best outcome is get rid of Congress and start fresh. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Y'all cannot be looking at Congress, all 435 members in the House and 100 in the Senate, and think they're doing a good job. You can't. And it would behoove every American that can vote to say, you know what? Them 535 people, they're not earning their salaries. They got to go. Their lobbyists that are connected to them, got to go. Special interest groups, got to go. CUFI, got to go. Look them up one time. They're like APAC, but on steroids. Maybe I'll do a stream on that next Monday. APAC, got to go. Especially, and I mentioned this last night, especially you, Marc Lamont, you see what APAC is doing with Black politicians, and you've been quiet because they're Democrat. And knowing the history between us and the Jewish community, you should know better. They got to go. We got to clear the cupboards, clean it out, put the new wood protectant on there, and get new people in there. Because y'all keep saying that all these other countries are rising up and they're going to surpass us in the next 30 years, but you still have the same legislature in them positions every 2 years. But y'all so focused on 1600. As much as I hate MAGA, y'all didn't take the cue that they didn't go to the White House to make their voices known. They went to the Capitol. That's where the fight is. It's 120 million people versus 535. You're gonna let that little army win? Or are you tired?
I mean, him and Kamala.
That's what we're talking about, right? Yeah, I'm not speaking in the abstract. I'm not like I don't make politicians the boogeyman. I'm not saying.
So you're saying Kamala would be better for Black people than Trump?
Yes and no, and I'll explain what I mean by that. I believe that Trump represents. You know, it would be like if I handed you a really, really nasty glass of water from my toilet after somebody went to the bathroom, and I said, drink it. And you said, I ain't drinking that shit. And then I handed you a glass of poison and said, well, you got to pick one.
So who's poison?
Right, just hear me out. What I'm saying is that it would be a misrepresentation of my position to say that drinking this glass of shit is good for you. I'm not claiming it's good for you. I'm simply claiming that the other one is so bad that we don't get to live to fight another day. And now to answer your question directly,
so which one?
now to answer your question directly, for me in this example, Trump represents the poison. I don't think Kamala is good.
So you drink the shit water. He said it. He drank the shit water because he could survive. You see, he could survive. So he drank the shit water. He could survive, and he gets to hide the fact that he did it. You see how when I tell y'all things, it comes back full circle? What have I been telling y'all for years on this platform? If you voted for Biden and Harris, live with your vote. Don't hide. He basically just confirmed everything I said. He'd rather drink the shit water because he can hide it. And he could survive it. You drink the poison that's supposed to represent Trump, he's already assuming 99% you're gonna die. AKA you vote Trump and this nation dies. That's what he's saying. Interesting.
I just think Trump is worse. That's all. And so for me, there's different ways you can respond to that. You can say, I'm not voting for either of these fools, and I'm going to make these parties give us actual people who represent our interests, right? Which is what I've done in the past.
What's wrong with that?
I've been a Green Party member for 20 years. I didn't vote for Obama, didn't vote for Hillary. Why? Because I said, I'm not going to accept the Democratic Party's trash. They're going to have to give us something better if they want me to become a Democrat or vote Democrat. I take no issue with people who make that choice. There are people out there who believe that Donald Trump is a better choice for them and that his outcome is better. I'm willing to have the debate to talk about why I disagree with them, but I don't demonize those people either. Just make the decision that you think is best for our community. I just happen to believe that this election cycle in particular, because of the Supreme Court, because of some of the specific issues that are passing right now around.
Sir, let's play that game. You did it. Okay. You know what? I can't even do it like this. I can't.
Wilson.
For a bunch of people that are around politicians and they're around all these movers and shakers, how do they miss this? Unbelievable. Marc Lamont Hill, let me explain something to you, sir. Maybe you've been living under a rock. I know the YouTube channel, you're getting it popping. Maybe you missed a lot of things, sir. Legislation has dropped in front of the Democrats. Maybe you forgot that. Let me help you. Number one, affirmative action. Did Trump get rid of that? Did the Trump administration get rid of that? Or was it under Biden's watch? Where did the legislation, where did this whole argument start? Who started it? Right, the Obama administration. Yeah. Democrats won for years to get rid of affirmative action because they wanted to prop up the immigrants. Let's talk, because I think y'all are scared to talk like this because maybe your audience is mostly immigrant. Yeah, it was them. The Democrats don't like immigrants. Oops. You know what? Screw it. We're going to talk real this morning, right? Screw it. It's fine.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, let me help you again. Democrats don't like immigrants. Never did, never will. They are useful idiots. Just like immigrants who have no papers can be selected to go into the military, that's a boon for them. They can go and say, you know what, we rebuilt the military. You know, the one that Trump keeps saying he rebuilt? We'll rebuild it. Yeah, affirmative action fell. Started with Obama, fell with Biden. Next, Roe v. Wade, you know, that abortion thing. Where did it fail under? Oh, yeah, Biden and them. Because they didn't sell it. and Trump is doing the smart move. He's saying take it back to the states. Y'all are having a pissy fit over it. Who cares? If he's telling you take it back to the states, isn't that considered pro-choice? Oh my God.
It's a round. It's a round.
You want me to say that again? If he sends it back to the states, that's pro-choice. I know y'all don't understand that because y'all don't go down them holes. Yeah, that's the state choice if they want to make it, right? Okay. Y'all been around this political sphere so long, you know what states are liberal, what states are conservative. Thank you, Wrestling Reeves. They voted to put it back in. So what's the problem? And Ohio is, we know how supremacist Ohio is. Again, your same Democrats that are fighting for Roe v. Wade don't want y'all to have Roe v. Wade because they make more money killing babies. Are we gonna talk? None of them like you.
Mike Wilson.
None of them. And y'all sitting up here talking about red versus blue, blue versus red, spy versus spy, Marvel versus Capcom. Who cares? They all don't like you. And y'all are sitting there trying to convince us, the independents, you got to pick this side. I ain't got to pick no side. I stay in the middle of the road. Guess what happens when I'm in the middle of the road? That car or truck that veers into your side, I don't get hit. It's funny how that always happens, right, Mark? Hey, Mark, your Democrats gave you a bill that said the cops can shut your car off in 2 years if it's electric. Yo legislatures, you watch, give Asians a bill. Only 3 Republicans said no, and y'all said they were racist. They gave them money, they gave them a task force, they gave them a law in the books, right? And play in black people's face, played in your face, played in your kid's face, played in Hotep Jesus's kid's face, played in Uncle Hotep kids' faces, played in our sons and daughters' faces who are about to go out in the world and be still subjected to racism that y'all say is still prevalent. But the Asians got a hate crime bill. The Jewish community got enhanced protections in New York City because Kyrie Irving tweeted out a link. And in between that time, black people were still being gunned down. But y'all only wanted to focus on black people being gunned down by other black people, not no cops. Then Jalen Walker happened. Then Jesus Christ, Mr. Nichols, he goes down because of cops, and everybody was outraged, but no law got passed. Payne Gendron does what he does. I have the governor of New York and the AG under the Biden administration, 2 Democrats, literally sit up there and debate for 2 weeks if they should put hate crime charges on the federal level for that man. When no problem with them Asians though, right? When no problem. But you're up here caping for Kamala Harris on how black she is, but she's trash. She's trash, but she's black, according to you, because she has a Jamaican grandmother. And you think her father's black. And she listens to Tupac. She said Tupac is the greatest rapper, dead or alive. She smoked high grade in college, and she inhaled. She runs through airports with collard greens. She takes a picture of Thanksgiving with a diagonally cut cornbread, and you think she's black. Oh, and she listens to black music. And she lived a black experience. And she's an AKA. But she's done more damage in 3 years in regards to black people than Trump did. By the way, maybe you didn't know this either. Trump and Kamala are complicit on what happened in 2020. Both of them. Trump wants to close the border, let no flights in from Asia. Her and her cohort said, along with the rhinos, you're xenophobic. He left it open, and here we are. But y'all got paid. Y'all got paid. The rest of us suffered, but y'all got paid. Y'all's contracts didn't lapse. You weren't out here fighting. Your families were taken care of. You didn't have to wait every week and do unemployment just to get $600 plus what the state was going to give you just so you can keep a roof over your head. You didn't have to do that. Y'all had money tucked away. That's a beautiful thing. You watch small businesses go down on his watch, her watch. And she didn't say nothing. You watched her talk about, hey, if you get arrested at doing rioting, I'll bail you out. But now she want to talk about gun control. She want to go help them cops. She loved black people so much, right, Mark? She didn't even go outside and advocate for George Floyd. What do I mean? When Chauvin got his what they call it, when he got his charges, why didn't she just say that should be federal? Why didn't she be the first one outside saying it's federal if she's black? Oh, I know I'm talking real. That's why people left. Or they probably flagged me. It's all good. It's all right. We talking. It's okay.
I'm willing to have the debate.
It's okay. I know this is tough conversations. It's okay. It's okay. YouTube, I know it's a tough conversation to have. I know. I know. I know. But you're right. Let's get back to the screw ups. I'm not calling either of these men screw up, but this is what y'all want. Y'all want crap. Y'all want black people fighting with each other. We'll do it for you.
Debate to talk about why I disagree with them, but I don't demonize those people either. Just make the decision that you think is best for our community. I just happen to believe that this election cycle, in particular, because of the Supreme Court, because of some of the specific issues that are passing right now around diversity initiatives, around reproductive justice, around the Exxon rule, a decision around federal executive power.
It's called the Chevron deference. If you're gonna mention something, mention it correctly. It's called the Chevron deference, not Exxon. Damn. That thing just happened 3 months ago. Chevron deference.
There are things that I'm worried about that strategically I think it's better to choose Kamala, not because she's her, but because she's not him. And for me,
oh, good God. He just said lesser of two evils. Man. Y'all didn't learn your lesson in 2020, now did you?
That's enough, because I don't worship or fall before any of these people. I don't care about none of them at the level of politicians. So that's all.
You're a damn lie.
But why, if you truly believe in the Green Party, why don't you push that more? It seems to me y'all just make these choices. Choose what's best for you.
Because they didn't tell you they don't have
when in the
enough
long
money.
run, your position, voting for the Green Party, might be the best position of all.
They never put up the right candidate.
I seem like it doesn't.
That's what he's
I
going to
don't
say.
get that from you.
So if you were to look at you can do it a couple ways. If you Google Marc Lamont Hill Democratic Party, Marc Lamont Hill Green Party, you'll see far more entries from me supporting the Green Party. I have take my entire life. Let's just use Twitter, since we both live on Twitter. I've been on Twitter since 2009. I have endorsed. I have said maybe 2 or 3 tweets in favor of the Democratic Party presidential candidate in these 15 years. I tweet about the Green Party all the time. I do party building with the Green Party all the time. I just don't believe right now in 2024 that we have done enough at the grassroots level and the regional level to warrant me investing in party building with them at this moment. That's
so you're saying your party's a failure. So you're saying the Green Party's a failure. Is that how y'all hearing it? Because that's how I'm hearing it. You've been on there since 2009. You could have been pushing the Green Party for 15 years. Yeah, what is y'all's policy? We went over it. Why aren't you pushing that? Where is your Green Party candidate? Mark, I get it. You want to go on CNN election night. I get it. You don't know how to do a marathon stream. I get it. It's tough. Any stream past 2 hours, you got to be engaging. You got to be charismatic. That's tough. I'm about to do it for 12. I've done 4-hour streams. This is going to be 4-hour stream times 3. I've done 5-hour streams, 2.5 times. This is going to be tough. But I got the charisma to pull it off. And they'll go away learning something out of it. You want your CNN move, they give you a little money in your pocket. You can go get a nice new suit. They'll fly you to New York. You'll be in the studio with Wolf and Van Jones. They're probably going to put you on the other side because, you know, them Negro tears. We shall overcome tears. They're going to be flowing and they don't want you to mess up the brand new suit because then they're going to be liable for the dry cleaning. You'll probably be on there with Abby Phillip. You know, and talking about we got back our democracy if Trump loses. And you'll try to parlay that into hopefully CNN giving you a contract in your own show, or maybe a couple specials, until you say that one thing wrong and then they clip you quick. But all right.
It's a recent decision, like in the last month or two. Still did an interview with Jill Stein. I still promoted Jill Stein's presidential run this time around. I still promoted the Working Party's family on my channel this time. By the way, everybody, please go to my channel, Marc Lamont Hill on YouTube, and watch Nights.
You shill.
I had all these people on.
You shill.
And that's a shameless plug. I have no shame about that.
Yeah, you go.
No, definitely get your plug on.
Get your plug on. The Hotep loves them some plugs, boy.
You're asking a question that states something as if it's fact when it's actually false.
So let's round this out, right? Let's go bar for bar, right?
Oh, they gonna rap now?
Both of you guys. Uncle Hotep, why do you think Trump is good for black people or better? And Mark, tell us why you think Kamala is better for black people.
But he don't think Kamala's for black people. That's the point, Uncle. Sorry, Hotep Jesus screenshot. He doesn't believe that. He just believes Trump is worse.
Why do you think Trump is good for black people?
Or better than Kamala?
Better than Kamala. We'll give PPP loans out again and we can just hit the streets again.
Oh, God, this is not funny, man. This is not funny. This is not funny. This is not a joke. Y'all just sat there 10 minutes ago saying how serious this is. Now you talking about PPP loans. Oh, so you want them to loan you back your own money again? Oh, God. Some of you Negroes take things. Never mind. I'm going to say something wrong. Never mind. Wait, we in the vortex. Some of you Negroes, y'all take. Can the Hotep Protocol forgive me for saying this? Some of you Negroes that get these opportunities to go on these platforms, you don't have to perform. It's okay. Marc Lamont Hill is black. It's okay. Hotep Jesus, Marc Lamont Hill is black. It's okay. You don't have to perform. I get it. When you show up on Alex Jones, you got to do a little dancing. I get it, because that's a weird ass crowd over there. I get it. This is Marc Lamont Hill. This is YouTube. You don't have to dance. You can have serious discussions. It's okay. That's all we've been asking for years. Can we have black people sit down, make it look like Teen Summit or look like what Tavis Smiley had, have serious conversations? They already think we're jokes. They think all we do is play around all day. And then you do that. I could understand if it got heated and you did that joke. I could understand that. You're trying to you're trying to level out the hostility. I get that. Trump ain't giving out PPP loans. The Republicans ain't doing that again. Never again. The Democrats ain't doing that ever again. That was to keep their seats. And the backlash they got for it was immense. They're never doing that again. PPP loans, and they couldn't watch it? You think now that they can watch it, they're going to give it back out? Okay. Everybody be in jail. It'll come with a loan and handcuffs.
No, I mean, jokes aside, he's going to do best on immigration. And I think...
You think so? You think so? Okay. Tell us why.
In the longer run, that's going to affect Black Americans, FBA, ADOS, more than anything else.
Why didn't he do it the first time? Oops. Now he's going to do it when he only has 4 years. Okay. All right, dude.
You know, there's been lawsuits in Chicago. There's less jobs and more increased job competition. We have to do something about the unchecked flow of immigration.
And it's been going on since the 60s, but y'all didn't say a word.
And I think that would be in our best interest.
Mark, how do you respond to that? Do you agree with that? You disagree with that? Or do you want to switch gears and tell us why Kamala is better for Black people?
I'll do both. I'll do it real fast too. I don't believe it matters how I feel about it. I think we have to look at the actual numbers, the data, the facts, the evidence. The evidence shows that the bulk of the jobs taken by people who are coming across the border these are jobs, whether it's agricultural work, whether it's certain kinds of service work, whether it's certain kinds of childcare work. These are jobs that Black people aren't taking, according to the data. So
because they won't hire us, Mark, and you know that. Because when we go and take those jobs, we want to be paid our worth. You know that. No Black person's going to sit in the sun picking grapes or picking fruit or vegetables or tending to livestock for $3 an hour. Nobody's doing that. It's funny. They got rid of illegal immigrants in Chicago at a bakery, and miraculously, everybody got paid more and they did more production. Imagine that. Coach Foods in Mississippi did the same thing. They got raided, brought people in there that are actual citizens. They made more profit. It's funny how that works.
Oh, to be clear, just so everyone understands what I'm saying, these are not jobs that Black people would be getting that have been taken by so-called undocumented people or so-called aliens or so-called, whatever you want to call them, right? Central Americans, all these different people, our South American, Central American brothers and sisters are not taking our jobs. According to the
brothers
data,
and sisters,
evidence,
now they're brothers.
I understand. I'm
how that
point,
works.
sometimes it feels that way, and vibes are important. I love vibes. When I go out, when I go to the club, when I'm at.
You like Vibes Cartel now? Now we talking about Vibes Cartel. Let's see.
I'm at this point that sometimes it feels that way, and vibes are important. I love vibes. When I go out, when I go to the club, when I'm at a concert, when I'm with my wife, vibes matter. But in this context, I think data and evidence and facts should matter. Objective analysis should matter, and the objective analysis is that no, these jobs aren't being taken But part of how fascism works is that a really powerful, influential, singular figure will come and have you thinking. They'll go to the everyday person and say, "Hey, everyday person, I'm just like you." That's what Trump does, right? It's brilliant. He's brilliant, right? When I talk to everyday working class white people, they be like, "I can identify with Trump." Trump ain't never worked. He's a billionaire, right? But he's one of us. And he says to them, "You know what your problem is? You know what you got to do? It's that guy over there." So people who have 90% of the wealth, they then tell the 10%, the people with the 10% to fight with each other over each slice of that 10% while they eat the 90, and that becomes a Trump strategy. But if we're talking about immigration in particular, his approach does not help Black people. And it's cruel and it's inhumane. And I would say ultimately violates international, it doesn't necessarily violate international law. I think that's actually not necessarily true because there are ways that sometimes people are passing through other countries and should be getting relief there before they come here. But that doesn't mean ultimately that that we don't have a moral responsibility. My reason for saying that for Kamala is that I think that Black people are at our best, not when white people give us handouts of philanthropy or generosity. Black people are at our best when people simply get out the way. You know why we kick ass in sports? We just watch the Olympics. You know why Black people win in sports?
Huh? What did you just say?
That for Kamala is that I think that Black people are at our best, not when white people give us handouts of philanthropy or generosity. Black people are at our best when people simply get out the way. You know why we kick ass in sports? We just watch the Olympics.
When we get out the way? What does that mean? When we get out the way, what does that mean? Somebody got to translate this for me. What does he mean?
Not when white people give us handouts of philanthropy or generosity. Black people are at our best when people simply get out the way. You know why we kick ass in sports? We just watch the Olympics. You know why Black people win in sports? Because
so we're at our best when people get out the way. Okay, that's wonderful. We're not asking them to get out the way. We're pushing them out the way because they won't move.
The playing field is level. The goals are clear. The rules are public. And the officiating is fair. The referee is impartial, right? When that happens, Black people will succeed just like everybody else. What I want and what I think we need is not for the government to give us shit that we don't deserve, but to level the playing field by giving us what we do deserve, which is reparations. And the we is not all Black people. It's not the Kamala Harrises of the world, who I think is Black, but doesn't deserve reparations. It's the descendants of slavery. We deserve reparations. Kamala Harris is not a reparations hawk. She's not out here trying to give us reparations, but she's also not out here trying to block it in the way that Trump is.
Oh, Lord, she's not going to give. Oh, my God. See, he did it. He said it, family. That's the move. Now you figured it out. That's the move. Trump ain't going to give you reparations. Kamala will. Because she's not in the way of it. Did y'all peep that? They love the word salad. They didn't think we'd pick up on that. She's not in the way of it, so she's for it. Trump's never specifically said outside of it's something to look at. I don't see it happening, but it's something to look at. That's automatic no. But then when you bring up the clip, like Torian said, they say, oh, you didn't see the full context. We watched the whole interview.
Kamala Harris believes in investment in public education, investment in roads, investments in infrastructure, investment in minority business. Those are things that I think matter. Again, Kamala Harris is not our savior. I would give her a C- if I were being generous.
So why do you want her as president? If she's a C-, why do you want her as a president? I think that question should be asked. I think it's fair. If she's a C-, why do you want her as president? Wouldn't you want the best person for the job?
How good she is for us. I just think Donald Trump is a D+, and or D-. I'm gonna take the C+, whereas Uncle Hotep likes to take the D.
Pause.
Oh my God.
Pause. Sir. That's number 4, and y'all allowed it.
Pause.
Pause.
Pause. I said pause, nigga. Mind you, LeBron is spending $2.5 million on his body. Pause.
I would give it to Barkley. Pause. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, but I'll let you go. Pause.
Go ahead.
It's a luxury to have a big man. Pause. They gave him the soft one. The hard one, pause. Pause, nigga.
Major pause. I'm not even going to back that up. Pause. Hey, y'all let him get away with that again. That's crazy.
So Mark, this is my issue with the conversation.
That was a jab. It was, I got it. Go ahead.
No, that was a declaration. Sorry.
Trump debate. There's always the denigration of Trump, right? But there's never any evidence as to what Kamala is going to do. So that's why I asked you, why do you think Kamala is going to be better for the Black community?
Right. And my answer was that I think some of it is not so much her doing more, but getting out of the way and not blocking things like reparations. But then I gave you specific.
Bro, the point of y'all picking a president is to make sure that whenever Congress pulls out there, they either sign it or veto it. You have no guarantee that if she gets a reparations bill, she's going to sign it. She can veto it. Or she'll sign it just to get some cool points. But she don't believe it. This is why I say focus on Congress, get people in there that will believe in your agenda. That way, you don't have to say nothing. You elected them people. They're elected. They're for you. If your president vetoes the bill that is for you and the betterment of you, you know who your enemy is. Congress is not our friend right now. 1600 is not our friend. The Supreme Court is not our friend. We can't do much about the Supreme Court until they either can't be fit for duty or they expire. You can do something about Congress. You can do something about 1600. And y'all have sat there and y'all know that. But you out here fear-mongering to people that don't look at politics the way a lot of us do. We know they're not for us. What is the best deal? She's not the best deal. Trump is not the best deal. And playing lesser of two evils is not the best deal. So I took it upon myself to tell my crowd, listen, go focus on Congress. We can insulate yourself, 1, and 2, you can make sure people in there for the agenda. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But y'all are assuming that the person that's supposed to be the CEO of the company, aka the country, you expect them to do everything you say. And they've proven every 4 years they don't do that. And you still want to fight for them because you want to dunk on the next side. Have fun with that.
Things that she would do. I said investment in public education, investment in infrastructure. Remember those things I said? Investment in minority businesses. Those are concrete things that she will do. Those are concrete things that I said she will do.
Yeah, right.
I think,
she said that?
When she say that?
Okay. She said that in 2020. She's advocated as vice president, and she seems to be saying it. Now, I'd like to hear her say a whole lot more now. I'd love to see the policy platform pop up on that website.
Yeah,
she's not gonna say anything because y'all already gave her the pass. Whatever she says, you're gonna go with. Because it's not Trump.
I've seen that. Maybe she said it. I just haven't seen it in her presidential run. I haven't seen any of the.
I think that. I think.
You think
again? Kamala Harris deserves our scrutiny and our criticism. And if she puts 10 things up, I'm going to probably disagree with 5 of them, and the other 5 I'm probably going to have some significant pressure applied to them to make them better, right? Because that's how it works. But again, I see this as a choice to buy time. Like Baldwin talked about in 1980 with Carter and Reagan.
Lord, you see this as a choice to buy. Sir, we don't have any more time. There's no more time, sir. There's no more, okay, we're putting this on layaway. That's done, sir. BRICS is coming. The world is done with America, sir. There's no more biding time. You're watching Africa rise up right now. You're watching Europe try to correct itself with their immigration problem right now. You're watching Asia wake up and say, we can rule the world. Sans Japan, because they're in a recession right now. The Western world is in trouble, sir. Life is course correcting. There's no more biding time till 2028. Because if she wins, she's going to be there 2028 as the candidate, the incumbent. And we're going to be doing this dance again. You time wasting people. That's why we're in the situation we're in. All y'all scared to be proactive.
That for me, I'm not choosing, if I choose Kamala Harris, I'm not going to choose her because I'm so excited and enraptured and I believe she's going to change the world. It's that I know that there's a significant threat coming from Donald Trump that I think will do harm to us. I don't like the way he handled.
And you can't even name that threat.
I can name 5 things, right?
Go ahead.
I'm saying that even if Kamala Harris just handled them the way every other person before Donald Trump did, it wasn't any better, that would still be better. If George Bush were running right now against Donald Trump, I'd be pushing for George Bush with the same intensity for the same reason.
The fuck?
This isn't about Kamala, it's about Trump.
There you go.
I think that is a good enough.
He said it. He said it. There you go. He said it. I give a damn about the democracy. I can give a damn about the people. I just don't want Trump in. They could run Bernie. I'm not talking about Sanders. I'm talking about the dead guy from the movies. They can run him. He gonna pick him just because it ain't Trump. We're doing this again.
Enough reason. I just don't think it's the only good reason. I think if somebody says, I'm not choosing evil, I'm not choosing lesser two evils, I'm not choosing none of these motherfuckers, I'm fine with that. I respect that choice. If somebody says I'm choosing third party, I respect that choice. And if Uncle Hotep or you or anybody else says I actually, in principled fashion, believe Trump is better, then vote for him. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just explaining to you that my vote isn't a vote out of worshiping the Democratic Party. It's not a vote out of fear. It's pragmatic, and you can make your own pragmatic choice. Everybody should make their own.
Why do we have such fear of Trump when we did 4 years of this guy? The sky didn't fall. You know, outside of, you know, COVID, like COVID was the worst thing that happened. And if you're going to blame that, pin that on him, I don't know what else to say. Like that could have happened under any administration. There's nothing really he could have done, in my opinion. But we all survived. We're still here. We all went through. We all came through it. We're here.
Nobody died?
Huh?
You mean everybody who didn't die is still here? I mean, like, that's crazy. We're all still here until the people that died.
How did that get pinned on Trump?
No. I was just responding to your point that we all survived it. We didn't all survive it. People died. A lot of people died. It's just not true. We didn't all survive it, is all I'm saying.
Due to a global pandemic that he really had nothing to do with. Well, I mean, if you're saying something else he had something to do with, but I'm
waiting for the moderator. I want to hear you out fully, and then I'll respond. I want to hear you out fully.
That was due to COVID. I mean, that was out of his control, wasn't it? Was it not?
No, that's not true. That's not factually true. Trump was left with, and I write about this in my book, We Still Here. Trump was left with pandemic guidelines by the Obama administration. I'm looking at my notes here to find it. Yeah, at the end of his second term, president, this is from my book, so I want y'all to think he's getting fed lines by the Democratic machines that own him. This is my own book. I just don't have my books memorized. I said at the end of his second term, President Barack Obama's team of scientific advisors left Trump with a 69-page pandemic playbook that offered concrete strategies for responding to a crisis like COVID-19. The playbook discussed the importance of obtaining personal protective equipment, PPEs, as we all know now, having a clear and unified communication system with the public, and most of all, an urgent, all-out government commitment to eliminating the pandemic as quickly as possible. Trump ignored all three. So when you say that Trump could not do anything else, Ben Papa, I mean, you ready? Okay. And Trump ignored all things. You think you're the only cute kids in here, man? My son came here now. He heard somebody getting beat. he
Number
got scared.
5. Number 5. And you stood there and took it. Nasty work.
See, basketball. And so what was I? Oh yeah. So those are 3 concrete examples that disprove your point that there were no concrete examples. Those are 3 concrete things that Trump did not do. More than 100,000 people died when Trump was president. That's just in the United States. I could name 10 other things, but when you say like we all survived, no, only the people who didn't die survived, which is the problem. Too many people died. Too much premature death, and too many of them were poor people, Black people, brown people, and other vulnerable people. I got to take. I have to change my son. So I gotta take a break. Can we take like a 1 minute, a 5 minute break, and then I can wrap this up, or we can wrap now. But I gotta. It sounds like Uncle Hotep looks like he really needs a break. So
Number 6, and you were,
we take one real
he just hit him with the Power Rangers of insults, and y'all allowed it. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, yo.
All right.
How do y'all 2 are legendary trolls, and you let this man troll you? How did that happen?
Yeah, so we're gonna wait for Marc Lamont Hill. I'm gonna get my thoughts so far in the debate. I have a hard time following his line of thinking. And I think that's just my issue. Like the 3 things, I just don't know how much of the pandemic fell on Trump, right? The 3 issues he was talking about. I'd love for him to class.
Sir, he the one that ran outside and say he the father of the Belle Biv DeVoe. That's all they're gonna focus on for the next 80-something days. That's all they're gonna focus on. They forgot about all the PPE stuff. They forgot about all that. They forgot about the Obama stuff. They focused on that Belle Biv DeVoe. And he ran outside and said he the father of it. He gonna have to answer for that.
Clarify what those 3 issues were and how Trump didn't respond to them. I always thought the pandemic was more of a hospital issue, right? Like, and it seemed like OSHA guidelines weren't being followed, and pandemic response at the local level, hospital level. I thought that was more of a local issue. Very spicy debate. Mark's a lot funnier than I thought he was, but I guess he's definitely black. He's blacker than Kamala.
Still debating somebody's blackness.
I'll go Hotep. What are your thoughts so far?
Reading the comments, they're saying I'm getting fucking smoked.
That's what they said.
They're killing me in the chats.
I'm sure they are.
He made some good points.
You got destroyed on this.
He's a fast talker, but I think a little jibber jabbering over Kamala. It's like I'm not buying it, but it sounds good.
Yeah. So he mentioned Kamala. This is something that's been on my mind. Well, the first part was like, all the math he did, 3,500 days, and you don't know what 7 times 7 is, and all of that stuff. And I was just like,
9 times 7.
Trying to do the math and figure out what that had to do with the point.
You said 7.
I couldn't follow that line of thinking. And not to say he's wrong. I'm just saying I'm just having trouble following the line of thinking. The other thing was, what was the other thing he said? Oh, when I asked him about the Kamala thing, why is he thinking? He said, more money to education and more money to infrastructure. And I just don't know how that helps the Black community. I really don't. I would love for him to explain. I don't want him to explain it. I really don't want him to explain it. I actually just published a video on my timeline about this, about what happens when you give the government budgets, like where that money actually goes. And one of those clear examples was Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, I think he gave Newark schools like $1 billion. And like, it's like the money disappeared. It's like $1 billion went and disappeared in North schools. And, we haven't seen a huge ROI on that. So, when he says, he mentioned reparations. I don't even know if Kamala can take up reparations on her platform. I don't know how the Democrats feel about reparations. It seems like, the furthest Democrats have gone on reparations.
They don't like it.
A committee, creating a committee and doing studying. But I don't know, why he thinks that, the education, money to schools and the money to infrastructure. The other thing too was when he said the Black job situation and how those aren't Black jobs.
That one, yeah.
I had trouble following that line of thought too, because that didn't make sense to me.
I had to come back for that, because even if those jobs we're not doing them, those people that come over and do those jobs have family, they have kids, then their kids competing with our kids. Their kids aren't going to keep doing those same agricultural jobs. But then on top of that,
the only
some of
reason
them
I would get this
aren't just coming over here and doing agricultural jobs or jobs we're not doing, despite what the stats say. They are all over construction. Easy. Those are jobs we used to do. We used to see black folks all over construction areas. Not anymore.
Yeah. When he said agriculture, I'm like, agriculture. They got Hispanics working on farms now.
All right. So how did y'all feel about it so far? I'll let y'all sound off. I'm shocked. Me personally, I'm shocked. I can't believe I literally sat up there and watched them debate this woman's blackness instead of policy. All right. Well, he's back now, so let's get after it.
Well, I'm just like, again, I just have.
Greetings, y'all. I'm back.
Yeah.
I imagine Uncle Hotep is doing better when I wasn't here with the debate.
Mark, I want to revisit this thought because
I got to roll in a minute, but I wanted to give us a chance to wrap up and probably thank y'all for inviting me.
Yeah,
and I think the public is going to learn a great deal from this.
Yeah, I was just saying how I had a hard time following, a lot of your points, and not to say that they're wrong, but I just had a hard time following them. But particularly the one about the immigrants taking the jobs, the illegal immigration taking the jobs. You mentioned agriculture, et cetera, et cetera. But you said black people don't want those. Don't you do those jobs? What was it?
No, what I'm saying is that, first of all, two points. One, the bulk of the jobs that have been taken by those groups were jobs that weren't being filled, i.e. these weren't jobs that black people were competing for and now we're getting beaten out. The idea is if I come in, if you come in, my brother, and say, look, I'm doing this job for $10 an hour, and now there's a Mexican, American, or Guatemala, or not a person from Mexico or Guatemala coming in who will do it for, say, 5 or 8, you're going to get priced out of the market, right? Because now you get that job because someone else is doing it for cheaper. That's the argument. Is that correct? Is that a fair representation of the argument?
Sure.
Right. What I'm saying is, nowadays, according to the evidence, you're no longer offering to do the job because you're doing a different job. Black unemployment is actually quite low. And those who aren't employed are also are so far out of the job search that they're no longer looking for work, meaning that the jobs that they're taking are not jobs that we wanted or are pursuing. So they're not taking our jobs. It's just it would be like you say, it would be like somebody saying, it would be like if Rihanna just who's famous. It's like when Rihanna takes I'm getting married, and you like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have a shot. You weren't in the running. It wasn't some. So ASAP didn't take your spot, right? It was never your spot. You didn't want it. It wasn't going to happen.
What are you talking about?
Right. Fair enough. But you weren't in the running, right?
Yeah.
He didn't. But like this, the reason you're not with Rihanna is not because of ASAP.
Yeah.
Huh?
The reason. That's my point. The reason that's actually perfect. The reason you're not with Rihanna has nothing to do with ASAP Rocky.
But the reason why I'm having a hard time following the line of thinking is because of a very specific case. I forget if it was Chicago or Detroit, but they came down on this one manufacturing facility, and it was something like 1,800 jobs that were being filled by illegals. And when the government came down on them, those exact jobs were then filled by black people. So how did that happen?
I don't know the case you're speaking of, so I don't want to speak to a case I've never heard of. But what I can tell you is when you look at the overall data, when you look at the actual numbers across the country, like for example, I'm looking now just to see if I can find the report. I'm happy to send it to you. But unemployment right now is at 6.3% under maybe like 4 years ago it was as low as 5.
But unemployment's a very flawed number to go by. Unemployment just means the amount of people that applied for unemployment. It doesn't exactly take into account the people that don't have jobs.
Then you don't. So you don't make the claim that Trump got black unemployment to its lowest.
I don't deal in that number. I don't deal in the concept of unemployment.
So then, if you're saying that you don't use unemployment numbers as a metric of whether people have jobs or not, what do you use as a metric? I'm happy to use whatever metric you use.
I'm talking about the very specific thing you said. You said that
right,
black people are not filling. No, what I'm saying is you're zooming out to like these macro numbers, which
that's what we're talking about.
No. You said that black people aren't filling these jobs, and I told you there was a very specific case. There's a very specific case in Chicago and Detroit where like 1,800 jobs were being fulfilled by illegals, and when the government cracked down and said, "Yo, you can't employ these people," those jobs then were filled. Hold on, let me finish. Those jobs were filled by black people. So when you say the data shows that black people aren't filling their jobs, it's because those jobs have already been filled.
Right. And what I'm saying is that's not what the evidence shows. That's not what the data shows. If you look at the Economic Policy Institute, for example.
But you just missed my point when you just spoke just now.
No, I'm not missing your point. What I'm saying,
if you look at that, hold on, let me just finish because that's flawed thinking, Mark. Like if you look at that one specific case that says those jobs were then filled by black people, but you said black people weren't filling those positions. When you zoom out and you look at the numbers at a macro level, we can then surmise and say, well, maybe those jobs haven't been filled by black people because they were already filled by illegals, which makes the data flawed.
I understand.
And we should have had you debate him, and we wouldn't have had this flawed logic. See how that works?
And what you're saying, and it's a little, with all due respect, it's a little difficult for me to explain why that doesn't make sense, depending on how well you understand statistics. But what I would say is to make it, and I don't mean that to be condescending. I'm just saying,
no,
you're saying with confidence something that actually doesn't actually make sense if you understand how employment data works. So it would be like if I said, I'm trying to just use a good concrete example before we go. What's a good example?
You don't even know. He's okay. He crashed.
You watch
out.
basketball?
He crashed out. He crashed out.
No.
Oh, well, okay. Then there goes my good example. Okay. So I just put it very simply. I can't speak to a specific case that you just brought up without a name, without a factory.
I can get it for you.
Yeah, I mean that would be helpful. I can't speak to that specific case, but when we look at
black people so much,
we look at the overall number. We look at the overall. You're saying I'm using macro analysis. That's what I'm making a macro claim. I'm saying that I'm not saying that no job has ever not been taken by an undocumented person. If you understand me to be saying that no black person has ever lost a job to an undocumented person, then let me clarify. I'm sure that has happened. But what I'm saying is that is not what the evidence shows is a pattern. What is the norm? What is consistently occurring? The evidence says the opposite. And so when Donald Trump offers a claim that they're taking your jobs, I'm saying that is not what's happening. So if I say like, white people are taking over the slam dunk contest, and you're like, that doesn't happen. That's bullshit. And I say, well, I can prove it. And then I show you I can pull out one white guy, Brent Barry, that won the slam dunk contest, but that doesn't disprove your claim that white people aren't taking over the slam dunk contest. And you go, well how do you explain Brent Barry? Well, I can't, right? But I can tell you that that's not the norm. And I'm saying not based on my own evidence. You can literally go, and I'm happy to post a link to the audience right here. I'm not making this up. You can go to the Economic Policy Institute. They break this down as well. You can look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Again, I know you don't trust labor data and unemployment data, but it is an index of something when it goes up and down. Even if you think it doesn't tell the whole story, I agree it doesn't tell the whole story. But black unemployment is as low as 5.3%. And if you're arguing, and you're right, some people stop looking for work. Some people don't do unemployment. Fine. But if black unemployment is at a historic low, why would we then think, even intuitively, that would be a signpost that somehow we're losing more jobs to Mexicans or Guatemalans or other Central Americans? Black unemployment, and Uncle Hotep, I think, would agree with this, because all the pro-Trumpers are saying black jobs have never been better under Trump. So black jobs have never been better under Trump, and even the left-leaning organizations say, look, these numbers are pretty good. They just attribute it to Obama and not Trump. But black people aren't looking for jobs like that. And there's all these unfilled jobs that Mexicans have taken to say, well, to tell black people they're actually your jobs that you could have had. That's just not true. Again, just look at the charts, look at the data. And the individual, which feels right now anecdotal, but the individual example that you've just given me, if you give me more information, I might be able to explain it to you, but I can't explain it to you without having information. Now, you were doing, I think you're still doing the impartial moderator thing. So I'm guessing in our last minute.
No, I'm just trying to understand, right? Because
so do you have a similarly challenging adversarial question for my debate opponent? Because if someone were listening to this right now, they think I was debating you. And I'm fine with that. I can beat both of you simultaneously. But I'm just curious.
Number 7. Number 7. And you're allowing this. I guess.
Curious to know if you also had a question for him.
No, so here's the thing, right? We got a lot of people watching. And you mentioned something about Black jobs. And I said to you, I was unable to follow your line of thinking, and I wanted to be able to follow your line of thinking.
You follow it now?
No. Hell no.
So there's two different things.
I'm still talking.
You can follow my line of thinking and disagree, or you could not follow my actual logic. I am making a logical argument, which is Black.
But you don't listen. You're not following my line of logic, because I just told you that these unemployment statistics are bullshit, and you still went back to them.
Right, and I asked you, what should we use as? I said I'm happy to use. I think you forgot this part. I said I'm happy to use a different metric, but you have to.
I want to use your metric and follow your line of thinking. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Hold on. Brother, you just said you don't trust my unemployment statistics as accurate. You said they're bullshit. You literally.
No, I said I want to follow your line of thinking.
Oh, I misunderstood. Did you not just say the unemployment statistics are bullshit? You said that, right?
That's one point, but there's a second point that you made. There's a second point. There's a second point that you made, and that's the point I was trying to understand. That has.
Hold on.
You said that Black people weren't filling those jobs.
Right. So I want to address both of the points. So to the first point, right? Before we go to the second one, I gotta go. To the first point that they're bullshit. If you think they're bullshit, I'm saying fine, I will concede that. What should we use to measure Black people's success in the job market other than labor statistics? I'm asking, fine, they're bullshit. What do you use instead? How do you measure it? That's a direct question.
I think we got to go into each community and go based upon the labor statistics in each community, and not zoom out and do a macro thing, because everything could be skewed based upon all the vicinities that are included in that data.
State labor statistics, just not federal labor statistics.
No, I think it'd be more accurate if we said, let's go based upon Detroit labor statistics and include anecdotal data. I don't think we can just use this empirical data. No, I'm just saying, if we look at the case I was talking about, where we had this manufacturing facility and 1,800 jobs are just gone because they kicked their illegals out, and then those jobs were then filled by Black people. It's like the argument falls apart to say that Black people haven't filled those jobs in. And the thing with the illegal immigration is this isn't a new problem, right? So when you say Black people weren't filling these jobs, illegal immigration has been hurting us probably more than 20 decades. 2 decades. So when we look back, we're looking at illegal immigration. Those jobs haven't been filled by Black people because they've been filled by other people. And many of those jobs we're talking about are like construction jobs and warehouse jobs and manufacturing jobs and factory jobs. I don't think it's fair to say that Black people won't fill those jobs when we just saw a case where they did. That's where I'm losing the train of thought. I think it's kind of weird to say Black people wouldn't fill those jobs. I think they would fill those jobs. I think there's a lot of brothers that I spoke to personally, and we can go based upon empirical data, but I also think we can't discount anecdotal data, because I know when I was unemployed, I took any job I could have got. I think we don't take into account the lack of, push to blue collar work, right? The lack of training and vocational. We push a lot of college on kids, but we don't push vocational to the young Black boys. They've taken vocational work out of the high schools. They've taken. I want to do this to create some clarity, so you can give me some better clarity. But they've taken vocational out of high school, and the boys aren't being trained to take on those blue collar jobs. Whereas many of these illegals, they come with those skills, they come with that training. So I think the reason why those jobs aren't being fulfilled, because they're going with people who already have those skills, but we haven't been given those skills. So I think there's more to the conversation than Black people won't fill those jobs. I think they would if given an opportunity and given some nurturing.
Right. So you said a few things there. You said you don't trust federal statistics, but you said maybe not state, but maybe city. The federal statistics come from the reports that the city statistics give them and the state gives them.
They're aggregated.
So they're all right. So the federal statistics aren't more reliable as just a matter of fact. This is not opinion. They're not more or less reliable than city. You can say the city's bullshit too, but you can't say I trust city statistics and not state or federal. That just doesn't make sense. But
they're aggregated.
Right. They're aggregated from the people who you trust. Right.
No, so they're aggregated.
What does aggregate mean?
Put them all together.
Right. So you're saying city you trust, country you don't. And I'm saying the federal statistics are literally, you can literally look and unpack it yourself and count and see that what Detroit has reported shows up in the state report. What Grosse Pointe shows up in the report, and you add them all up, and that's what Michigan reports. And you look at Michigan reports and Pennsylvania reports and Ohio reports, that's what the federal becomes. It's not a mystery. It's not like they cook it all some secret sauce and you could say, well, maybe Detroit sent it right, but it got jacked up in the process. Like, that's not how the statistical reporting happens. But to your bigger questions, I don't want to get sidetracked too much with that. You're still making it seem as, I understand your point, which is if Black people were given the opportunity to get those jobs or room for those jobs, then maybe they would take them over the undocumented person who's taking it. I think part of the gap in communication we're having here is, I'm saying that right now these jobs aren't being taken at all. It's not like, well, we're all filled here at this factory, and we're all filled with Guatemalans and Mexicans, and Blacks didn't want these jobs. It's more like, we can't find anybody to take this job. Can somebody please take this job? Black people don't want these jobs. Now the question is, why don't black people want these jobs? And I'm saying, if you trust labor statistics, it's because most of us, and I do mean most of us, under Trump and under Biden and under Obama, it's not a Democrat-Republican thing. Under all these presidents for the last 10 to 12 years, black unemployment has been declining. Black unemployment is in the single digits. Black people aren't desperately looking for jobs as much as the world wants you to think. To me, a better argument that y'all could make, if I were Uncle Hotep, who I'm supposed to be debating, I would be saying, y'all act like the sky is falling, Negroes got jobs. Y'all act like the world is on fire under Trump, Negroes got jobs. What are you tripping about? That to me would be a better argument. What I'm saying is, we have jobs. And so the people who are taking the job selling oranges or taking the job doing childcare, black people didn't want them. I own a business. I'm looking for people to hire. I can't hire a person, not because I won't hire a black person, but because black people aren't looking for jobs in this area because they have jobs. That's all I'm saying. So when it's not, I understand how you're saying that your example of the factory contradicts the dominant narrative. It's not that I don't follow your thinking. I disagree. Unlike you, you're saying my stuff doesn't make sense. I'm saying what you're saying makes sense. I just disagree. I
just disagree on that one point. I just don't understand that one point, and I disagree when you said that black people wouldn't fill those jobs.
I heard you, and my response to what you said is that the difference is for two things. One, you're offering an example that may contradict the dominant narrative, but again, I don't know that example. I haven't seen that example. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I can't speak to it because I don't know. You're asking me to speak to a hypothetical. I don't go by vibes. I need the evidence. But also sometimes there are vibes. Sometimes there's a single case that is different than the case. That's why I get the white man winning the slam dunk contest example. That factory could be the white man winning the slam dunk contest. I don't know because I don't know that example. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't know that example to speak to it. And I don't speak to things I don't know. But yes, I go by the overall numbers because if the overall numbers show, it's like when white people say there's no racism, we got a black president. Well, yeah, he's exceptional, right? He's exceptional. I'm not going to look at the one case in Detroit you're mentioning and ignore the hundreds of thousands or millions of jobs that follow a particular pattern. That's all I'm saying. I'm going by the pattern. I'm going by the overall number. I'm making a case about the overall picture of black unemployment, not a specific case. Maybe the situation in Detroit for Mexicans and blacks is different. It could be. I don't know. I'm not from Detroit. You know what I mean? Uncle Hotep, is he from? No, he's from PA. You're the one who's really familiar with the D.
Pause. He did it again.
Etc.
He did it again. How are y'all allowing this?
Pause.
Pause.
He paused. I said pause, nigga. Mind you, LeBron is spending $2.5 million on his body. Pause.
I would give it to Barkley. Pause. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, but I'll let you go. Pause. It's a luxury to have a big man. Pause. They gave him the soft one. The hard one. Pause. Pause, nigga.
I don't know the D. You know the D. And so,
oh my God,
for that reason, I can't speak to it. That's your expertise. That's your area. So all that said, I got to run, brothers. I'm not. They're gonna say we stipulate. I want to be clear to the audience that we stipulated that we go an hour.
No, we went over. You gave us more than enough time.
I know, but I need the audience to know that because if I leave right now,
I'm co-signing that. I'm co-signing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They'll be like, they started pressing him. He had to go. No, my son's
no.
Like you know what I mean?
No, Mark gave us more than enough time. Mark promised us an hour and a half, and he's gone over.
That's all I'm saying.
We appreciate.
Y'all didn't go over. It's literally an hour and a half.
Y'all gotta come back on my show too. Everybody, make sure you check out Marc Lamont Hill YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Oh, I get an invite?
Yeah. Then you don't have to pretend to be a moderator.
Oh damn!
Another
shot.
I'm happy. I'm like jujitsu. I'll debate both of y'all simultaneously. It's fine. Or me and my son will. Make it even. You know what I'm saying? We'll do it one way or the other. But either way, I got y'all.
You're getting a little full of yourself, Mark.
You know what it is? You talk so much shit about me on Twitter for so many years that now I'm just giving you. I don't do this to nobody. If you watch all my debates, I don't talk crazy like this. But y'all talk so crazy all the time about me, and I don't ever say shit. That like since we're here like virtually face to face, I'm just going a little extra with it because y'all go so extra on Twitter when it's fine. So just understand that that's the source of why I'm fucking with y'all like. But
we're not taking it to heart. We're not saying we ready for this.
Oh, I know. Y'all not sensitive. You can't be sensitive. What kind of sunglasses on? You gotta have thick skin. You know what I'm saying? Look.
So there it was. That was the debate. Such as it was. If y'all want to come up and say something, you can. Now I'm going to take a break before I get into this Buju Banton piece. Okay. Yeah. That debate just went a place it didn't need to go to, but it's men's. Oh Lord. When is that Buju Banton stream? 12 o'clock? I think I put it for 12. Absolutely amazing. Did y'all learn anything? I just learned that we playing anybody but Trump again. That's what I learned. Yeah, I did at 12 o'clock. Okay, so I got a nice hour to myself. I'm gonna go take a break. Never mind. All right, hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I'll try to be better next time. We'll see you in about an hour. We're gonna go over Buju Banton on Drink Champs. Because I saw Dwan talk about the Afrobeat piece. I'm gonna do the whole thing. Considering I'm Jamaican, this should touch my soul. So yeah, I'll see you in about an hour. So y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Wait around. Yep. Mark, yeet and get out.
Time's up.
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
At the end of the day gotta end.
Get your money up, not your funny up. Big fucking move.
And that's it.